How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and if you are new to the channel, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content. And at the end of the video, if you have any questions or you want to leave your 2 cents on anything that we talk about, definitely use that comment section. We encourage it over here on the channel. But today we're going to be talking about, not necessarily in any particular order, but 5 impending free agents that could get overpaid this offseason. And what I mean by overpaid is it really just depends on the market. Let's say, there's not that many great quarterbacks on the market. A team that desperately needs a quarterback and isn't really sold on anyone in the draft could look to do anything it takes to bring that guy in. And spoiler, we're possibly going to have a quarterback that comes up. Can't say who, because there is a couple of options out there. But that's basically what I mean by overpaid. Is the market is kind of scarce and teams feel like, they're not. It really just depends. It's situational based. And just to prove that it's situational based, we're going to go ahead and get started with our number 5 guy right here for the Detroit Lions. Let me fix this. And we have to go to the defensive end slot, Ezekiel Ansah. He's going to be entering year 6. He'll be 30 years old next NFL season. Doesn't really seem like he's that old, but he is. He was a late bloomer at BYU. Didn't really play football for like that many years in his career. He was kind of brand new to football when he went to BYU. Rarely played it. So good for him. He's been a pretty good pass rush. He was, banged up last season. Didn't really play a ton. But, he's a 4-3 defensive end. And I think teams in a 4-3 are going to have to look out for him in particular, especially if he hits the open market. I don't really think he can play 3-4 outside linebacker. I really feel like he's kind of like Cameron Wake in a sense, where he just has to have his hand in the dirt and just attack. And I feel like teams with a 4-3 defense, like the Jets, who are moving to a 4-3 under Greg Williams, that could be a potential market. They have a lot of money, so they probably are going to be willing to overpay for Ezekiel Ansah, especially if, hypothetically, Jadeveon Clowney and Frank Clark and some of the other top pass rushers either don't hit the market or they're already gone by that point. Ezekiel Ansah may be your only option, and a team might be willing to go all in for him. And I think the Jets is one of them. The Browns have some good money as well. They could use a guy next to Myles Garrett. I know Emmanuel Ogbah is a solid rotation player, but for a solid, solidified starting position, Ziggy Ansah is probably the way to go. On to number 4. We have to go to Philadelphia, and we have to talk about this man right here, Golden Tate. I think Golden Tate definitely deserves to be paid. Now, hear me out. Personally, if it were me, I would draft a wide receiver. I really like this wide receiver class. I'm sold on it. I don't really have to tell you the names. Just watch the tape on all these guys. Watch the combine this weekend. I'm recording this on Tuesday. This should be up Wednesday or Thursday. Watch the combine this weekend. You'll see some names like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown. Hollywood Brown, unfortunately, isn't going to be working out, but he's a deep threat at the wide receiver position. You got AJ Brown, Deebo Samuel. You just look at the names. Andy Isabella from UMass, who keeps sliding up everyone's boards. Riley Ridley from Georgia. You got some guys in this class that could seriously come in and produce. Golden Tate is a true slot receiver. He can run all the routes. He'll beat you with technique. If he can't beat you with his athleticism, which he is a very athletic dude, but if he can't beat you there, he's going to beat you with that technique. And slot receivers, man, every team doesn't necessarily have a great slot receiver. So when you do, you kind of want to do everything to keep them. But I do realize that Nelson Aguilar also plays in the slot a lot. So you basically have 2 slot receivers. I would run with the younger guy, but Golden Tate, I feel like, is going to have a market for a team that desperately needs a playmaker in the slot. I can't really think of, at the top of my head, one ideal location that sticks out. Maybe the Buffalo Bills. They have good money, and if I were the Buffalo Bills, I would do whatever it takes to help out my young quarterback and Josh Allen. I know Larry Fitzgerald for the Cardinals is playing in the slot a lot more, so I don't know if Arizona would be willing to bring him in or not. Let's see. I mean, we could just run through all the teams with, like, young quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, he could definitely use a guy in the slot. I mean, he's pretty good with the tight ends and the running backs, but, you know, with the wide receivers, maybe you bring in Golden Tate. It could be similar to when they brought in Steve Smith towards the end of his career. Not comparing the two players at all, but the situation. Like, Joe Flacco got an older veteran receiver who still had something left in the tank. Golden Tate still has some good mileage on him, in my opinion, and I feel like as a slot receiver, you can increase your career in terms of the years you play because you win with technique. You're not relying on athleticism. But I feel like a team is definitely going to go all in on Golden Tate. I just have that feeling that there's a team out there that's going to be intrigued, you know, with Golden Tate as a slot player, and they're just going to go all in. Number 3, same team, different player, Nick Foles, a.k.a. looking like Max Kellerman in this picture. Nick Foles, man, I mean, what can we not say about the legend himself? Foot-long Foles, Big D Nick. I'm not going to say it. That's... not going to say it. But Nick Foles, man, the guy that is solely responsible for this playoff run from a couple of years ago, or the season before, I should say, not even a couple of years ago, but from the season before, defeating the New England Patriots, this crazy playoff run that he had as well. And then also you got, you know, this postseason, you know, Carson Wentz goes down again. It seems to be the theme of Carson Wentz's career, and I'm not taking a shot at him, but it's like every year he's injured. Every single year he's injured, and it seems to be at the same time every single year. So Nick Foles, you know, he steps in again, arguably is a player or two away from beating the Saints. And they beat the Rams in the regular season. It wouldn't have been too crazy to say they possibly could have done it again. But, I mean, if you do it twice, it's not a fluke, and that's the way I look at it. Nick Foles, outside of Philadelphia, though, has not been successful. And I feel like teams definitely need to keep that in mind, but because of a recency bias with football in general, people are going to be like, oh yeah, Nick Foles, the same guy who came in for Carson Wentz and led the team to a Super Bowl. But in Kansas City, he was a glorified backup for Alex Smith before they ended up drafting Patrick Mahomes. And then with the Rams, when it was him and Case Keenum, you never knew who was going to start on a week-to-week basis, and they were both just terrible. So we've seen what Nick Foles looks like outside of Philadelphia, and it's not really that good. So if I'm an NFL team, I keep that in mind. But something tells me that a team like the Jaguars, even the Redskins, who the future with Alex Smith, we pretty much know he's not going to play next year. I feel like one of those two teams are going to move heaven and earth to get this guy as their quarterback. In my opinion, I guess if you're the Jaguars, because you have a roster that's made to win now, the Redskins, you're better off drafting a guy, because even though you were in first place prior to Alex Smith getting injured, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Nick Foles going to Washington. I mean, Philadelphia knows his strengths and weaknesses. The Giants are used to playing him twice a year. The Cowboys are used to playing him twice a year. So that's just not a good idea if I'm Nick Foles. Why would you go to the division that already knows you well? And why would you want to play Philadelphia twice a year, a team that has helped develop you and a team that just knows what you're good at and knows what you suck at? Like, why would you do that? So I feel like the Jaguars are going to move heaven and earth to acquire this guy. If it were up to me, I mean, yeah, I would want Nick Foles, but based on what we've seen in the past with Nick Foles, I wouldn't be too sold. I'd probably look at some other option. But at number 2, we are going to go to the defensive line. I don't know if he's a left end or a right end, but it's actually a guy that me and Aaron had on our top free agent list, which is very interesting. Trey Flowers. The reason that I have a red flag on Trey Flowers, even though he was in our top 10 free agency list, it's because of what he accomplished in New England. It's not a knock against, you know, Trey Flowers. It's not a knock against, you know, the Patriots, but it's what he accomplished as a Patriot and what he's done, you know, as of late. on why he's a top tier free agent, why he's in everyone's top 10. It's because of what he's accomplished. Who's to say once he leaves he's going to be the same player? We've seen players like Jamie Collins, Wes Welker. I mean, name the players. Go ahead, give me a list. Chandler Jones is the only guy outside of New England who has had legitimate success and even upped his production value. Wes Welker leaves. He goes to Denver. We don't hear from him again. Jamie Collins goes to Cleveland. Rumors are he might be cut next season. Not this season, but possibly next season when, like, the cap doesn't count against the Browns. And they already have a guy who basically can come in and replace him, Gerald Avery, who they drafted. I mean, just look at past Patriots defenders who have left the team and are just not that good anymore, or you don't hear from or don't produce the same compared to when they were in the Patriots uniform. Trey Flowers is a guy who I think is really good. I've seen him play for the New England Patriots. He's a dominant presence in or outside, which makes him even more valuable, because you could play him as a 3-4 defensive end or a 4-3 defensive end or a 4-3 defensive tackle. He's that dominant and he's that good. But some players just leave New England and they're not that good, man, and I feel like he could possibly be one of them. I'm just saying. I mean, I would... That's a tough one, but that's who I give my number 2 spot to. And number 1, I ain't trying to be a hater, but it's HaHa Clinton-Dix. And to me, it's not even close. I know about HaHa Clinton-Dix firsthand. I'm a Green Bay fan. HaHa Clinton-Dix, after his breakout season in 2016, has yet to even live up to half of that. And I'm not trying to take shots at HaHa Clinton-Dix, so I don't want all you people who know that I'm a Packer fan to be like, oh yeah, he's not on the team, so you're going to take shots at him. You have to be critical. You have to call it like you see it. And the way I see it is, HaHa Clinton-Dix has not been the same player since 2016, the year that he broke out, the year that he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl and should have made it. And that's just the way I look at it. People are going to hate. People are going to say what they want to. But in my opinion, HaHa Clinton-Dix is going to get overpaid. He's 25 years old. If the Redskins don't let him return, the Packers win that trade. People were calling me crazy when I said that getting a 4th round pick was probably the best we could have done for HaHa Clinton-Dix. But then we see the dude play in a uniform. He gave up the first receiving touchdown to Julio Jones on the year. He gave that up. We see HaHa Clinton-Dix play awful and inconsistent football. I know he's way better than what he has shown in Washington. I know he's way better than how things ended in Green Bay. That's the problem. I know that he's better than that. But he has not played well. And in my opinion, because of the safety market, it is so stacked. It's so stacked. But Earl Thomas is coming off a broken leg. I'm pretty sure people don't care, but still. Tyrann Mathieu, kind of a positionless player. Does that have value to more teams than others, or what? Adrian Amos, I feel like the Bears, they're kind of restructuring contracts right now to try to re-sign him, so I don't even think he'll hit the market. If he does, it'll be interesting. Landon Collins is a strong safety, and some teams are looking for over-the-top single-high free safeties. And HaHa Clinton-Dix is like, he's young, he's 25, and people are going to look at that he's 25 and, he's coming off of a bad, awkward situation. Maybe he needs a fresh start. That's what people are going to think, and they're going to pay him his money. And he's not going to be as productive as he was in 2016, and people are going to flip out and be like, oh man, HaHa Clinton-Dix he's a bum, blah blah blah. But he was really good his first couple of years in Green Bay, and in 2017 he just fell off a cliff. 2018, when we needed that leader, we being the Packers, I'm a Packer fan, so I say we a lot. But when Green Bay needed a leader in that secondary, where was he? getting traded. So when people are like, oh, y'all got finessed, you know, Green Bay got finessed, they traded a 4th round pick for they got a 4th round pick in return for Clinton Dix, that's it. Here's the thing people don't remember, right? It's funny y'all remember that Clinton Dix was traded for a 4th round pick, but Landon Collins couldn't even get traded for a 3rd round pick. Interesting. Y'all don't remember that? The reports of, oh, the Giants are trying to shop Landon Collins, and you know, they've talked to these teams and they won't even give up a 3rd round pick. So Clinton Dix going for a 4th round pick to me is a win, because he may not even return to the Washington Redskins, and meanwhile we get a 4th round pick. We don't know what it's gonna be, but hopefully it's somebody decent. If it's somebody decent and this guy just leaves Washington, then we win the trade. Period. But hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm not trying to hate on Clinton Dix. I promise you I'm not. But we have Ziggy Ansah, Golden Tate, Nick Foles, Trey Flowers, and Clinton Dix as 5 players who could potentially be overpaid. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more content, comment down below if you disagree, and peace out.